Now the election back and I'll die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget fights and grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. I want to welcome you to this segment in the program where I will speak, laying the foundation for meaningful engagement. And to those who normally wonder why on Mondays, Wednesdays, and particularly Mondays and Wednesdays, we come on that late on Facebook and YouTube and so on, is because we have Pastor Davis John, who does his segment first, right? Perfecting the Saints. And it's really for a local audience. And Dr. Linton Andrews, he then comes in with Pet Talk, all right? In fact, this morning, I just forget to bring him on, and I do apologize there. But I do that on radio. I have them do their segments on radio, and then I bring in Facebook and YouTube. So again, the reason why we're about 10 minutes into the program or 15 minutes into the program is because of that. So that's something that you need to kind of bear in mind. I want to start off this morning by thanking the people who continue to share the program, share the live, or tell others about the new Facebook page that we are streaming on. Because people are looking. Everywhere I go, people tell me, well, somebody told them that I can be found on Grenada Transformation Agenda, that Facebook page, or YouTube. So more and more people are finding the page. More and more people are following the page or liking the page or subscribing to the channel on YouTube. And I want to encourage you to keep doing that. So I thank you for doing it, but I want to encourage you to still keep doing it so more and more people will like the page or discover the page, Grenada Transformation Agenda. Remember, we have encountered some challenges with Vision Information Services. We are not making that hinder us or slow us down. Instead, we are just dusting that off our feet and moving forward. That's very important. So again, we are about 1,100 followers on the Grenada Transformation Agenda Facebook page. So we are moving quite quickly. So I want to encourage you. Please share it. Encourage people to follow, to like, so they can get notifications, so they can know when I am on. Amazingly, the YouTube pick up significantly because I was just watching the numbers this morning, and I give you a typical comparison. The NNP program, right? Tomcat, he has been on YouTube long before I have been, because only recently I decided to do that channel on YouTube. All right. And my numbers are equally what he has, or even better in some instances. Right. It's within that parameter, either very close, better, or equally the amount. And bear in mind, I only recently did this YouTube channel, but people already start using YouTube and our numbers are already beating theirs or equally where they are. But remember, they were on YouTube long before I am, long before I decided to go on YouTube. It says something. Our numbers is also almost back on Facebook, right? Our audience on radio continue to increase. Wild 106.3 FM in New York. We continue to have a wide listenership there. Uh, Vibes 101.3 FM here in Grenada, Carriacon, PT Martinique, and Vibes 106.3 FM here in Grenada, mainly. So again, we continue to get the message out. We continue to connect with our people. So again, I want to encourage you, keep sharing, keep talking about the program, keep spreading the message about the program and where people can find the program, because there are thousands of people as I speak right now looking for the program. All right, looking for the program. Kem, start putting titles on your YouTube videos. People use it as a search engine that will increase your videos tremendously. Okay, thank you for the suggestion. That's Naya Philip there. All right, so at this point, I want to feature the Honorable David Andrew, Minister of Education, Youth and Sports, right? But specifically education. So let me, at this point, start with the good news from the Honorable David Andrew. So listen up attentively because it's some really good stuff there. NDC has always invested a lot in education. NDC has always transformed the education sector. And we can go back to the free textbook program. NDC introduced that, right? NDC introduced universal education. In other words, free pre-primary, free primary, free secondary school education. You don't have to pay all these fees and fees and fees for your child or children to enter a pre-primary, a primary, or a secondary school. Come September, free tertiary education. So your child will be able to go to TAMCC, even if you don't have cash, right? Because it is free to enter. The NDC also reintroduced Grenadian history in schools. Yes, in our schools, upper primary and secondary schools. That's a big thing. Big. The NDC expanded. So we already had some aspect of TVET in some schools, but what they have done is to expand, broaden the scope in the secondary, the primary and secondary school, right? That's important. The NDC is now working on the library in St. George's, the public library. The NDC is working on a library in Grenville. The voucher program continues, where parents would get vouchers, and it's handled from a school point of view at the secondary school level, primary school level, and so on. The principals, they're handling that. But of course, the ministers and MPs, they're not going to just allow it to just flow like this. They would make sure that our people get the vouchers. So that is good. Now you have all the students who sat CPEA exams, right? We used to call it common entrance before. All the students are going on to secondary school. And I love that. This nonsense, this colonial stupidness, where you have to go sit an exam and then they keep back some, they send some on. Then you have this whole psychological trauma happening where students who are excelling well, for whatever reason, on that day of the exam, they did not perform exceptional, and then the school that they wanted to go to, they can't get it, and all kind of drama. Hello. straight onto secondary school. That's a big thing. The free textbook program that continues. But let's listen to the Honorable David Andrew.
There will be no publication of scores. There'll be no publication of ranks. So, and that's very much in keeping with the Education Act. Not only that, I think the very publication of the scores has helped in many ways to undo what we are attempting to do in education. It has promoted a system of rating and ranking among schools, and a system where teachers were encouraged inadvertently to teach to the test. Because while we encourage them verbally as education officials to teach the students, the ministry has been in the practice of validating the top performers, validating the best performing schools by ranking the scores. And so there's a craze to go someplace, there's a craze, and many persons have complained of the psychological damage that this whole craze has created for some of their children. Children who do not perform as well. Students who get compared to other persons. Well, you used to be brighter than this person. How come you get less now? And so all of these things have created psycho-emotional trauma for many of our nation's children. And so not only will you have no rankings and no scores, but this year, 2023, every child will be placed in a secondary school. I repeat, this year, 2023, every child will be placed in a secondary school. And so the entire listing of students who attempted the CPE exam will be published in alphabetical order, and every child will be placed. Now, there are a number of things I want to bring to our attention. So the names, the assigned secondary school, and the existing primary school will be published without scores and without rank. Schools, though, will be issued the listing of the students that they sent with their corresponding scores for evaluations. So the schools that sent their students will receive the list of their students, their scores and their ranking, because we anticipate that the schools will need to do their own evaluation and review to monitor and to evaluate their effectiveness and for their own improvement. Students who merit their placement, because let me make it clear here, there is a CPE exam policy that affords the persons who placed within the first 200 to get the school that they chose. And that's part of the existing Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment policy. Those students who merit their placement in a secondary school will have their names sent directly to the schools by the Ministry of Education. So we are not denying the students their right as per the policy, but we are going to have that sent to the schools directly so that the schools will be aware, having been officially informed by the Ministry of Education, these are the 10, these are the 15 students, these are the 20 students who chose your school and placed rightly within the top 200. So that will be happening. Rest assured too that all students will receive a personalized CXC report detailing performance, rank, score, areas of strength, areas of weakness, and that traditionally has been sent to the schools. Each student will receive one of those in keeping with what has happened for years. And if students and their parents wish to compare those elsewhere, they can. But as a ministry, we choose not to. So that's going to be available to students and parents. And let me assure all concerned that we are aware as we move towards universal secondary education again. We want to embrace SDG 4, access to education for all. And we know that these barriers, I've listened to passionate stories of persons who probably didn't make it the first time and felt stigmatized, but they finally came around. And they're great successes today. And so we're aware that this policy position to have all persons placed in secondary schools will come with some degree of need for support. And so my team at the Ministry of Education, they're already engaging in thought as to how we will provide that support. The support will start, and that's for those persons who probably would perform at the lowest levels. The support will start within the summer. So within the summer period, there is going to be remedial work targeting those persons in the particular areas of deficiency to ensure they are better prepared to attend secondary school. And we intend also to have a continuous program of support. The full details of that is not fully fleshed out yet, but we have started brainstorming for the modalities we are going to use to have a continuous program of support for those persons going into secondary school. Even as I say that, I am not ignoring the fact that we are putting good attention on early childhood education and the literacies and the numeracies at that level, because we are confident that if we continue to address the literacy and numeracy challenges there, and if we build the skill sets at that level, then we will systematically eliminate all of the challenges that you currently realize and experience higher up in the education sector. So we continue to do that, and we'll continue to provide the support for these students as we move with this policy. This whole initiative to have all students placed comes in the context of government's wider policy position and thinking to include skills in a more robust way in the school system and to mandate education legislatively till 18. This gives an opportunity to ensure that we fine-tune at what points in the school system persons are able to choose the track that will best suit them, and to facilitate wider introduction, as has started already with the expansion of TVET in primary schools. But that is expected to continue, and that will dovetail into our policy position to have education mandated till 18, giving more and more students the opportunity to stay in school and get skilled, rather than leaving at 16 and for 2 years wondering what's happening with me without acquiring the necessary skills. So having said those, we are quite committed to continuing to work together, but I want to reiterate, every child that wrote the CPE exam this year, 2023, will be placed in a secondary school come September 2023, and we'll continue to give as much support as we can and as we need to all such students in the system.
Yes, that's very, very, very good news. But you know, the NNP supporters, they have never embraced education. So they do not see the value in all of these things. They are more interested in the $150 poor relief. You know, they are more interested in a little debushing program. In fact, they would talk more about that, the debushing program, the $150 poor relief assistance. That is what the NNP is more interested in. But the NDC is about building a society where our people are literate, where our people are educated. And that is awesome, if you ask me. Some people underestimate what is happening in education in Grenada. A lot is happening. And when you listen to the Minister of Education there, you would know straight away that Grenada is moving forward, that Grenada is being transformed. Before, you had a situation where some kids or students will be left behind. They would be named and shamed. They didn't pass, and they have to remain in that primary school. But that has changed, giving every child a fair opportunity. Some students are slow or slower than others. I know of students who didn't get the opportunity to go on to secondary school, and they are more successful than those who went today. I know of students who were kept back and treated differently, and then they started picking up, right? When they got the opportunity to go on to secondary school. So giving everybody a fair chance, I think, is the right thing, and it's universal. It is really the universal standard, free access to education, and giving all the students the opportunity all the way up, right? At least we can say they got a secondary school education. And a lot of effort will be placed in making sure that they learn at that level. So I want to applaud the NDC administration. I want to applaud the Honorable David Andrew and his team. You're doing an excellent job. Keep it up. The NNP people will never understand this. They have never embraced education. They have never embraced literacy, because the NNP has always been the beneficiary of people who are illiterate, poverty and illiteracy. Once people are living in poverty, they tend to support the NNP. Once people are illiterate, cannot read, cannot write, cannot reason, cannot count, basic, they tend to support the NNP. In fact, if you go to St. George's or in Grenville and you see a vagrant, for example, just look at the t-shirt he'll be wearing in terms of political jerseys or colors. An NNP t-shirt or NNP jersey, generally speaking. So I am saying it's a good thing what the NDC is doing at within the education sector, and they must be commended. Remember, I told you about the reintroduction of history, Grenadian history. In fact, I had the opportunity to speak to the minister very early this morning, and he clarified. He said, "Hey, Kem, boy, it is Grenadian history. That is what NDC will be introducing in our schools, and some people will say reintroducing in our upper primary and secondary schools." That is commendable and remarkable. They need to take a bow. We know that they have invested a significant amount of money in getting the library, the public library in St. George's, back to where it should be, modernized, computerized, upgraded, and also St. Andrew, Grenville specifically, will have their public library back up and running. Let's listen to the Honorable David Andrew again.
Martinique, 3 schools, 3 primary schools are taking the CPEA exams completely electronically. It's a declaration of intent as to where we are heading. We talk technology, we talk digitization, we talk transformation, but this administration is not prepared just to talk. We are prepared to do the work as well. And so 3 primary schools are off in that direction. We tried not to make much noise about it, Madam President, because we didn't want to attract too much media attention before they finish the exam in the next hour and some. We didn't want the media making them a little more nervous than they needed to be made with all the cameras getting there. How was your first day with e-testing? So there's 1 school in Carriacou and 2 on the mainland. They were piloted, let me assure you. There was a pre-test prior, and then there was serious layers of consultation with parents, the education community, teachers, the students themselves. And there were about 5 schools that initially did the pre-test. And after the consultations, a couple of those schools felt they were not quite ready yet. There were some pockets of objection. We said, all right, well, go right ahead and do it in a traditional way. But those students, their teachers, their parents, the school community felt comfortable that they were able to go the exam and do it electronically. And so we celebrate with them. And this Ministry of Education looks forward to further rollout next year, God's willing, for electronic testing. Let me say to you, we do have electronic testing that started since 2017 at the secondary level for the paper 1s, the multiple choice, in several of the areas, but never before has it been done. for the primary schools. And so this is very, very historic. And I want to commend my staff at the Ministry of Education, the examinations department. They work tirelessly. During this period, they get no rest till CSEC examination is done. They are down at the ministry probably well before 5 a.m. in the morning to deliver the scripts. And they're there till late in the afternoon to make sure every bit comes back in. And so I want to put on record my profound thanks and appreciation to them while we have created such an historic moment for education in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Madam President, I want to talk about another significant transformative occurrence. At the cabinet level, we have passed two very important documents. The TVET strategy, National TVET Policy, rather, and the TVET strategy, which is a mapping for how we are going to implement skills across Grenada. Now, this was done after the TVET strategy, the TVET policy, was a document that was funded by UNESCO, World Bank, and long been prepared after several rounds of consultation, Madam President, with key stakeholders, the National Training Agency, GNAB, Workers' Federation, several other agencies, TAMCC, NULO. They identified the gaps in our skills operation with a view to addressing those gaps and to making skills education more sustainable and applicable to our needs. And so the second document is our rendering of a strategy, a mapping to implement and to fill those gaps and implement skills across the nation, both for students in school and for persons outside of school. And so a comprehensive 30-something page document was presented to the cabinet, which has received preliminary approval for implementation across Grenada. And it includes several key transforming elements, one of which is the reintroduction of skills in all primary schools. Madam President, I am happy to announce that next Tuesday, God's willing, should I be spared, 9th of May, we will see the official launch of the reintroduction of skills at the level of sensitization in all our primary schools across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. We have had the consultations with all of the schools, the teachers, the persons in the technical areas, and we are quite happy to have it reintroduced. Now, there were some elements of it happening, but not all schools were involved, only some elements. And so we are very happy to have it reintroduced that way, and we look forward to, and that's just part of it. That skills mapping has several other elements that will be implemented incrementally over the next several years. So in that plan, I can tell you, there are plans to upgrade some of our secondary schools that have strong grounding in skills, to upgrade them to be school-based centers of excellence in particular areas. So there might be 6 or so of those schools earmarked for that. There are plans to use some of these centers of excellence, and we have some structures already existing, some not being fully utilized or exploited, and so we are going to use those. Some community centers, one example is the National Training Institute in, I'm not sure I can say the right word, in Snell Hall, which the former administration had going. But even that institution, we are aware a lot more can be done, and we are prepared to upgrade several of those institutions to make them indeed centers of excellence for various elements of skill. That's part of the plan. And to continue sixth form in some schools, the centers of excellence, and to use them both for persons in school and out of school. And there are several other things. But most importantly, tomorrow, on Tuesday 9th, we are going to launch that reintroduction in primary school. So I pass on that one. I can also say to you that part of that TVET strategy seeks to make investment in our tertiary level institutions, NULO, TAMCC, to increase the capacity to house students. Because we are putting things in place to do two things. One, to legislate that education be made mandatory till age 18. Madam President, this is also going to be transformative. When I walk through the communities, we meet several youngsters, 16, 17, 18, 19, and they say to you, I want to work. And my next question, what's your skill set? What's your area of skill? What's your area of expertise? And 9 out of 10 times they tell me, well, anything. I could do anything. And I say to them, that's my problem. Because when my car breaks down, I don't want somebody who can do anything. I need an auto mechanic. I say, when I have an electrical problem at my house, I don't want somebody who can do anything. I need an electrician. And when there's a broken main in the walls that see water running through my home or somewhere, I don't need somebody who can do anything. I need a plumber. And so we are determined to close that gap by providing an additional 2 years of opportunity for young persons to get skilled. Rather than leaving school at 16, 15, turning 16, 16, and us going on the breadline and saying, I want to work, and creating further problem for programs like the Imani program, we are going to give them these additional 2 years, mandatorily. That's currently being looked into, to give them that opportunity to get further skill to address many of the skills gap. That's in the skills strategy that we have too. And to make that easier, we are already doing the preparatory work to make sure that TAMCC tuition fees are no longer something that our students and their parents will have to find come September 2022. Give some table up for that. 2023, yeah. So while we're going to mandate it, we are going to say it becomes easier for you to access it. SDG 4, ready access, free access to education. And we want to make sure that happens. So my staff, they're working currently to do all the behind the scene numerical figures and calculations with TAMCC, setting up a framework to ensure that who registers and who duly gets into coming out of secondary school, that we have a mechanism to do the transfer of payments and all that. I'm excited, Madam President, of the transformation that these transforming things are going to have on our education system. We are not just talking the talk, we are walking it through. Madam President, I want to give you a quick update. We've talked a bit about the introduction of history and teaching of civics in our school system. I want to report to this House that the material is being published and being prepared. We have gotten, I believe, the clearance to hire an additional history curriculum officer, because we have one officer now serving both geography and history. But because of the emphasis we want to put specifically on history, we've gotten that clearance to specifically focus on that. So the material will be ready. There are training seminars planned for the Summer Institute that we're going to have in July during the break, to prepare our teachers to use the material. The history curriculum is being refined even as we speak. And so I'm excited too that that will become a reality, other things being equal, in September 2023. Teaching of history in our primary schools, upper primary, lower secondary. As you may recognize, Madam President, I move quickly on. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, on April 24th, we did a visit to our National Library. And that signaled our commencement of consultations for the restoration, refurbishment of the National Library. So at the moment, it's in the hands of the engineers and the Ministry of Infrastructure. They are doing the assessments, and they will advise us. So that will inform the consultation, what is possible, what isn't possible. But we are confident we are going to get through with what's been budgeted for, the development of the conceptual designs in this budget cycle. And the fact that we had that visit declares our intent to deliver on our commitment to so do within this period. Madam President, the last thing I'll probably talk about. In very short order, you will hear quite a bit of buzz about additional opportunities for study abroad. Now, indeed, there are just so many things happening in education, we can't get to feature everything at the same time. But come next month, we have started engaging one Dr. Randy Glean a Grenadian by association, a Grenadian by family, by descent, by all of these good ways. And he is a professor associated with Illinois University. And he is interested in giving back. So he has been in contact with us, and he is organizing a visit of several of his high-powered university team members, some of them presidents and all of that, to visit Grenada in June 2023 to scout and to share all the opportunities and to discuss potential collaborations with about 6 or 7 universities in the United States and Canada with whom we can have collaborations to deliver various areas of study and programs. And I'm very excited about the possibilities and the potential that exists there. And we are certainly going to engage meaningfully to see all of the possible benefits that young persons can get from these kind of collaborations as we aim to continue putting education right up front and out front in our transformation agenda.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. I love that. And you heard the announcement that they have this open house, if you want to call it that, at CC and the Trade Center. All right? With the same gentleman that he just spoke about, and his other colleagues from different universities in the United States of America and Canada. That's good. Thumbs up. Bravo. Education is on the rise. Education is on the rise. And sometimes you don't have to, wait. You just have to just go ahead. Go ahead with those initiatives because sometimes you have to avoid stumbling blocks. You see, the government don't answer to every institution or everybody. They would lead and others would follow. So yes, sometimes consultations are necessary. Yes, sometimes you have to, go through a lot of things before you get to certain points. Sometimes you just got to do it and give instructions and take it from there. Sometimes you have to do it that way, right? Because when you're in charge, sometimes you have to put your feet down and say, hey, these are the things we are going to do. We're going to make it happen. Because the minute time you go and start engaging some of these people who are stuck in their old ways, they tend to say, well, it can't happen. It cannot be done. It cannot be this. It cannot be that. Sometimes you got to just put your feet down and just do it and give instructions because you're in charge. There are times when things like that will happen, and I want to commend the government for taking that approach with this very important step when it comes to education and what they have outlined. Thumbs up, kudos. I want to move on. I want to say what is burning the NNP supporters is the fact that the NDC is able to just do stuff without grinding and complaining and groaning. And the NDC is unbothered. They're unbothered when it comes to NNP blah blahing or saying X or saying Y. If you observe carefully, the NDC is just pressing on and doing things to transform the lives of our people. And it's paining the NNP. In fact, they vex that the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, our beloved Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for St. David, was able to go into the communities, walk the communities, and for the first time, the ambassador of China has actually walked with a prime minister in the communities, listening, getting to know what's going down. They vex. Well, let me play it again this morning because I want you to see it. Our beloved prime minister walked Chaflon and Vincennes, that area, the surrounding area there, or areas, listening to people, engaging people. So you will not get what was said, but a little audio for those on the radio. You're going to get a little musical, but those on YouTube and Facebook, they would actually see. Yes, so folks, let them NNP deal with that. Deal with the fact that our Prime Minister, our beloved Prime Minister, is out there in the field, engaging his constituents, engaging the people, and it's just pure love. And the ambassador to China, or of China here in Grenada, right? The ambassador for the People's Republic of China here in Grenada decided to join him, join hands and hearts to go there and listen and do things for the community. Let them NNP deal with that. Deal with it. The chatters on the streets, the shit talker on the street who calls the Plead Your Cause program every morning, running his bitter mouth because he's upset. He used to work, with government. He's no longer there, right? You come in with your political party, you go out with them. Deal with it. You're rah-rah. Deal with it, right? So, folks, that bone in them. They're jealous, Jealousy. They're jealous of the fact that our Prime Minister is loved. Our Prime Minister is embraced out there by everybody. I listen to that idiot who is talking about Canada did not include Grenada in the visa waiver and so on this time wrong, and blaming NDC for it. What's wrong with these idiots, political lunatics? Come on, it was the NNP who actually mess up our chances of getting this thing, waived, because they started selling passports. The NNP started selling passports to the Russians, and the Belarusians are, what do you call them? Belarus, right? So Belarusians, right? Those from Belarus, they were selling passports for them, right? And they mess up our chances of that. But I'm not even going to spend time there. The farmers, is an upcoming consultation for you.
Farmers are invited to a farmers' consultation at the St. Andrew Methodist School on Wednesday, June 7th from 4 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to get farmers' input on the establishment of a new minimum wage in Grenada. Your contribution is important. Pass the word around and turn out in your numbers to this important discussion on a new minimum wage in Grenada. This Wednesday at the St. Andrew Methodist School from 4 p.m. All farmers are welcome.
Beautiful. Farmers, go there and be a part of that. Go there and be a part of that. Very important. Indeed. All right. Partner Tevin Andrews.
This June marks 1 year. 1 year since the National Democratic Congress resounding victory at the polls. And we are celebrating. Join us here in Carriacou for 3 days of festivities, starting Sunday, June 11th, with a church service at the Evangelical Church from 4 p.m. Then on Saturday, June 17th, it's Fun Day and Rally behind Sands Long Wall from 12 noon. Enough eats and drinks on sale. It all culminates in an epic yellow down on Friday, June 23rd. Wear your best yellow and assemble from the party office from 12 noon to show your support. Celebrating with the Honorable Tevin Andrews and the NDC. Don't miss out on this memorable event. Wear yellow to support this cause and come together as we celebrate 1 year of momentous transformation.
Right. So again, just seeing there, it's important that you know that Tevin Andrews and the team up there in Carriacou, they have that coming up. All right, Toronto.
Hello, Grenadians in Canada and friends of Grenadians in Canada. This is a special invitation from me, Prime Minister of Grenada, inviting you to join me on the 1st July 2023 at Bellevue Manor for a special evening, a grand gala. Accompanying me will be the Honorable Joseph Andal, MP for St. Patrick West and Minister for Foreign Affairs. The gala is in aim of raising funds to assist us in building a resource center in Grenada. The resource center will be a hub for community activities, for training, for meeting, greeting, and for conventions. So, we invite all of you to come out and join us. Your donation to this event is only $250 and space is limited, so we really do invite you to get your tickets early. I look forward to meeting, greeting, and sharing a meal with all of you as we look to move Grenada forward. I look forward to seeing you on the 1st of July.
Yes, beautiful there, wonderful indeed. Remember, we have a number of events here in Grenada too. I'll talk about that some more tonight. The Oil Down, the Deacon Mitchell support group out there in New York, they're having an Oil Down coming up on the 10th. That Saturday coming. Remember, NDC St. Patrick East and West, they have Ramona Cruise on that same day too. So in New York, there's an Oil Down. So again, from let me tell you here, from 1 p.m. $25. It costs $25. Local drinks on sale and a solid bar. So I'll give you some more information on that. Order by Thursday the 8th. That's tomorrow. Order by Thursday the 8th. That's tomorrow. And I'll give you some, some info. I'll just provide that info for you tonight. We're out of time. I'll give you some information on who you could call to order. Take good care. Have a wonderful morning, a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub starting from 8 in the PM. We have to pull the plug at this point in time. Bye for now. So let me just play this closing piece here. And all right.